Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat Postgame Show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we have Kendrick Lamar hater, Alf.
It's not true. Why would you say things like that?
You've been slandering that man's halftime show.
I'm not. Oh, yeah, I did slander the halftime show. I'm not an unrepentant stan like the rest of you people. Oh my god, did you see the symbolism? Shut up.
So much symbolism.
Give me some Bruno Mars.
Kendrick Lamar fan. Saucy takes, Coach Lu.
Oh man, symbolism was great. No, I'm kidding. But it was a great halftime show. Unlike
need a YouTube video to break down a halftime show.
You know what was bad, Alf? What we witnessed today by the man wearing the number 2 jersey.
We don't speak about him here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're not going to use him by name.
Not even the name.
Kyle Scarlett, who I don't know where you fall on the Kendrick Lamar discourse.
I enjoyed it.
There we go.
It's that simple. It was good.
Let's go. Three out of 4. You lose, Alf. Old man yelling at clouds. Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat postgame show. Lots to talk about. We had the Wiggins debut. We had the slow-mo debut. Davon Mitchell, Terry Rozier stuff to talk about. Want to not the happiest note to start on, and I'm going to link it in chat. Our co-founder and producer, Brian Goins, his father passed away very tragically today. And to help cover the funeral costs, he started a GoFundMe. It's partially kind of help pay for it. It's a lot of money that I don't think his family was expecting, and it's some hard times. So if you have it in your heart, we have it on our page on Twitter at MIA Heatbeat, and the link is in chat. If you are so gracious in your heart to donate a little to Brian Goins Sr.'s funeral and to our friend Brian Goins. So not to harp on that too much. I know it's not comfortable for anybody, and I mean, you guys have already raised almost $800 in the hour that it's been up. So the community always comes out. So thank you guys. And it's a hard day for Brian. I know it means a lot. So let's move on. There's no comfortable way to do it. To Miami Heat basketball, Alf Wiggins debut today. Is a 2-pack of ass appropriate?
I mean, the overall game.
Or Wiggins. I'm talking about Andrew. Just Andrew.
I mean, come on. I don't know. He's getting settled in. Like, he was never supposed to come here and be a 30-point per game scorer. Like, I think a guy like that, he really needs to get comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not gonna judge him too harshly. You know, he wasn't great.
3 for 12.
3 for 12. Hit a couple big shots
22,
early.
Repping the 22.
Then he got out there with Terry, and the stink just rubbed off on him.
No one can escape.
No, listen, yeah. It's hard. Like I saw people criticizing Bam. I thought Bam was fine.
Bam was good.
Like Bam was good. Jovic without Terry was good. With Terry, he was terrible. Really like Davon Mitchell. I think he's the only one that finished with a positive. Played less than Terry though. I mean,
well, he and Alec Burke, who is another guy that I've lobbied to play over Terry Rozier.
And Kalo.
The
guys who didn't play with Terry Rozier, like point blank.
But Terry Rozier got more minutes than all of them. Why? Who knows? But as far as Wiggins, I mean, like I said, I think he's going to be fine. Davon Mitchell, I really liked the defense. Like Peyton Pritchard was just getting by everybody except for Davon Mitchell
and Jovic inexplicably.
But like he was just getting past everybody. Davon Mitchell, like the defense was as advertised. Kyle Anderson was booty, but I don't think we expect much from him. Which is why I was baffling that Spo put. I think Kyle was pointing this out before the show. He put slow-mo out there with Jovic. I don't know which one of them assholes was center, but I mean. And Terry on the floor, like I mean, I can't believe we lost those minutes. But anyway, I think we just have to get to the point where either Bam or Ware is on the floor at all times.
48 minutes of one of those two at the minimum.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Ware was bad today, but let me see Ware being bad instead of me seeing shitty small ball. But
he's
anyway.
also allowed to be bad. I mean, he's been nothing but good since he's gotten like serious minutes on this team. So let him kind of work through it.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, listen, they weren't gonna. I'm not worried about them beating the Celtics. Like, that's not what we're not doing that right now. Like, that's not. It's not. It's more about like how
that
we look,
first quarter
what
though.
Building to. Oh,
take me back.
Can I do? I know we're gonna get to Terry, but since you brought up the first quarter, they were up 24-13 when Terry Rozier came into the game. Do you guys? I don't know if you know this. Do you know how many points the Celtics went on to score straight?
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't it like 18?
18-0 run from the time Terry got in. And then overall, from the time Terry came in to the time Terry sat, the Celtics outscored the Heat 26-5. They went from down 10 to up 11 in Terry's time on the floor. Okay? So these are the things that I talk about. And when I get upset, and I'm pissed off at Spo this year, like, you saw that. You called several timeouts in that time span and never once looked to take Terry off the floor, even after he was smoking layups. I mean, even the step back threes, like all the bullshit. You did not think about taking that Terry out once in that entire time frame. That's like fireable shit on most teams. Mm-hmm. But whatever, he gets caught.
Alf, you know what the frustrating part is? It's like it's not that they don't even have other guards. I mean, Burke shot 71% today. You know what I mean? Like, why is that guy not playing? He played about the same minutes as Rozier. Why is that guy not playing more than Rozier every game? I don't understand every time that guy plays, he's productive. I'm not saying that he's like the future or anything, but it's like clearly one guy is actively detrimental to your team and to the health of your objectives. And another guy is just like kind of vibing. So I don't know. Hopefully Davon Mitchell takes some of those minutes, but even he, didn't. And it could just be a first game thing. And I don't envision him playing more than 25 a game, but got about 23 tonight, Lou. I mean, I was impressed with Davion's playmaking. That's something I didn't really expect. I thought the decision-making was really good. And the athleticism obviously is very clear. So he's like a really welcome sight for them.
Oh no, I absolutely loved his minutes aside from like some errant 3-point, looks that he got up, but everything else he did, like you said, like a point guard who actually dribbled and helped facilitate an offense, several driving kicks. I know he only had 4 assists. He should have had like 7 or 8. I'm curious to see what his potential assists were. We were missing some shots today, but at the end of the day, like, I'm curious when Tyler comes back because even though I do think Davon fits next to Tyler better than any guard they have, at least defensively, like at the minimum, we saw what he did today. I almost don't want him to start. So then he has to come off the bench, and those minutes are not Terry Rozier's. Like, I'm trying to figure out a way. Everybody's like, oh, he played great. He should start. Shit, I would love for him to start. I think he probably, him and Wiggins, along with Tyler and obviously Bam and Khalil, like, that looks like something is there. Like, you have 3 really good defenders to make up for Tyler being shaky and Khalil having some moments, but at least he's big enough and athletic enough to like compensate sometimes. So like, but here it comes. If Davon, I almost said Donovan. Jesus, I wish it was Donovan. Yeah. If Davon starts, like, we're getting Terry. Like, there's for no reason. It doesn't matter what we do. We're gonna get Terry. So, but I don't know. But I thought Davon was really.
You would think, Kyle. You would think they could stagger Tyler and Davon.
I do, one,
but they won't.
Lou's
right. Terry will play if Davon starts.
Here's my problem. You have defenders, so my issue was the offense. I think they just shot bad. 32% is not going to get it done. If you shoot under 40% in any basketball game, unless you are like the Golden State Warriors with Stephen Curry, for the most part, you're going to lose games. So that's one. 2, I would rather see. I threw some lineups on Twitter. I'd rather see Wiggins, Davion, Highsmith, Ware, and Jovic, or any combination.
Highsmith didn't even play today.
That's my point. I would
Wait.
rather see any combination of that doesn't have and for those who have supposedly better basketball IQ somewhere on YouTube or wherever where you're watching this, I don't care that there's not a primary ball handler out there. There's just not a Terry out there.
This idea that you need Terry for ball handling and play creation.
That's like saying you need to eat at least one Five Guys milkshake for your diabetes. Like, that shit don't make no fucking sense. The idea that we need Terry Rozier to help every time he comes in to facilitate, the other team looks like they're a championship contender, and we look like we should be fucking tanking for Cooper Flag every single second he's on the floor. It's absurd. Moose's favorite player.
Here's the biggest problem. Number one, when it's just we're going back to and granted, there's a comment that says the whole team is garbage. Yeah, okay, then watch something else. My point is this. If you have guys who are plus defenders and the team is killing you, why not play all of your plus defenders? To me, you have the ability to be creative defensively. Lean into it. So, for instance, Tatum went on a run against Terry Rozier, 4 possessions in a row where they forced him to switch, and Terry ended up on Tatum, which I don't know, 6'2" versus 6'8", 9 times out of 10, that's a losing battle. You're going to lose. So, to me, if you have plus defenders, play your plus defenders. I would rather have seen Highsmith play. I would have said, hey, look, you grabbed a couple of guys defensively that you're going to get good defense out of. If you want to get stops, then play your guys. Highsmith should have got some minutes. Pella came in way too late. Like, I would have loved to have seen his defensive activity.
Highsmith is always good against Tatum.
That's literally his job. Alf, I had a whole post 2 years ago when we played him in the playoffs. Like, he was the best regular season defender on Tatum, point blank, period. Like, he gets 0 minutes today, which, to add on to like everybody's point, is absurd. And it's even more reason why they should have tried to shop him. If Highsmith has not started this season, he doesn't play.
But Terry has to fucking play for some goddamn reason.
It's absurd. I've been staring at this monitor, looking at 25 minutes for Terry Rozier, praying it'll go away.
To fucking be trash. It's to just be trash. And like, listen, I'm not absolving the rest of the team. My thing is, you don't have to lose by 20-something points, right? You could have a decent showing. You could beat bad teams. Just don't play this motherfucker. Like, I just don't fucking get like. It's and then like Kyle, like you were talking about, like we don't ever do things just like outside the box. Hey, let's really try to win this game. You're getting cooked by Tatum and front running ass Tatum. Don't let me start on that motherfucker. Didn't score a point till they were up double digits. I mean,
absolutely, that's his job.
2 points till they were up double digits, right? And then the thing is, once you let that motherfucker into a rhythm, putting guys like Terry on him, and honestly, a lot of it was Wiggins too. Wiggins got cooked by Tatum today. Okay, so
in the third quarter, in the first half, I thought they did a really good job, and then
second quarter, Tatum started cooking a little bit, and then he got comfortable, and nobody could stop him, right?
Yep.
But at some point, you have all these bigs now. Why don't you just try Bam on Tatum, right? And then they were doing the laziest switches I've ever seen, Kyle. Like you had Pella on Tatum, and then Duncan comes over. Screen, and then Duncan, the laziest switch ever. Like, and so Duncan just switches. Like, are you just handing them exactly what the fuck they want? Pella, fight over the fucking screen. Duncan, get the fuck out the goddamn way. You can't guard Tatum. But like, it's just dumb shit like that. And like, that's the stuff I'd rather be talking about than having to talk about fucking why Terry Rozier played 25 minutes and was a minus 26.
I mean, listen, we have donors in chat. Bronx Joker just resubscribed and says, I hate Terry. That's what the people want.
But he's killing the vibes this year, man. Like, just
the issue is, like, in my opinion, we see different media outlets, we see different people question the Terry minutes, but it never gets brought up to Spo.
Oh, because he doesn't like that. Like they don't. And
I don't
listen,
give a shit. You have to like.
He
We
doesn't
cannot
like.
be
They don't
blinded
like when
to 51 games of this.
That's not how like he works. Like you question the rotation, he's just not. The Heat don't like that, and he doesn't like that. Shout out to Jay Heat for giving out some subs. And listen, people are mad at Spo too. I mean, we have Ray Blanc with the super chats that Spo's having a horrible coaching season, and Cameron H also super chats that says we know this team isn't gifted offensively. I don't know how a defensive minded coach doesn't lean into the one thing that could keep it close. And frankly, I agree with both of those. I agree with both of those guys.
But you know what they did? They started with a defensive group, and they weren't scoring 24 points, 24-13.
Yeah.
They started with a defensive group, and then Terry, Duncan, Kyle Anderson, Jovic. That's what and like Burks or Wiggins, like that's what you threw out, like to maintain this defense, like nowhere, no Bam. Like I mean, only one of Wiggins or Mitchell on the floor. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like you go from this ultra defensive lineup to hey, let's put a bunch of tiny motherfuckers who can't finish at the rim on the fucking floor together. Mm-hmm. And a guy in Terry that every time he plays with Jovic, he kills Jovic. Whatever positive Jovic brings to the table are negated when Terry's on the floor.
Because to your point, Jovic doesn't end up with the ball in his hands.
Ever.
And we've talked about this before. If Terry's on the floor, that means Jovic doesn't have the ball in his hands, which to his strengths, if he's going to come off the bench, he should have the ball in his hands because playmaking is what he does best. But if he has another guard taking the ball out of his hands, then how is he going to facilitate?
Like he turns into a standstill shooter.
And that's not his game. That's not his game at all. In fact, what made it worse for me is I didn't see where Jovic and Bam play together with Davion and Wiggins. At the very least, you do that. So, I mean, the Spurs went huge. Like, they ran Tatum, Cornette, and what's his face? Porzingis. Like, just matchups. I just don't, like, you have size now.
We battled that with Kyle Anderson and Jovic.
Here's what I think. I'm not even mad. Ridiculous. I'm not even mad at the Kyle Anderson minutes from the perspective that he's not the type of player you're asking for offense. He's supposed to be the guy you use where you switch. If you're going to switch at any point, you have him. He's 6'9". You have him being able to defend no matter what. But putting him out there at center, like mind-boggling.
I think the issue is like I think if you want to play him, if you want to go small and do switch, like you play him with Bam, right? Like you know, you could play Ware, and I think separating Ware and Jovic was a mistake. I mean, those guys have been so good together. Lou, we've talked about it so much how those guys have such a great chemistry together, and that's been like one of the more positive bench units. You know, especially when Rozier's not there. That and I get it. Listen, they tried something out, and I think this is gonna be a process to figure out the rotation. Of
course,
because they have.
Why does it have to be such a fucking process?
But Alf,
like,
it's okay if it's a process, but there's certain things that should just be obvious at this point.
I agree.
Kyle Anderson and fucking Jovic shouldn't be your center and power forward. Like it's stupid. Like you needed a fucking
start.
You needed a play. You needed to see that on the floor to figure out it wasn't gonna fucking work.
And to further like into Alf's point, like the two things that Jovic and Kyle Anderson do well is like help facilitate, and the easiest way to make them help facilitate is when they're on that short roll and they get the ball there is to have a lob threat behind them. None of them can catch a lob. So these short rolls were going to fucking no man's land. Like they were ending in floaters consistently because it didn't matter. Like you didn't have a vertical space.
Bro, and Kyle Anderson is going to make more of some of those floaters.
I'm not upset with his minutes today. I'm upset with how he was utilized in his minutes today.
Can we also talk about
rotations? And and people make the jokes about spotations. The rotations have been god awful all this year. And anytime that the rotations have been something that we the fans who are not fucking experts, right? Like we out here just loving the game of basketball. But when the rotations are the ones that we've been asking for, they've looked really good, and not to say they've won every one of those games, right? Because there is a talent deficit on this team, but they haven't looked like this, right? It didn't look like the Brooklyn game, right? They didn't look like where they just can't even beat bad teams. But I mean, I know they're supposed to be trying things out, but at some point, there's just some things you don't need to fucking try. You don't need to try Kyle Anderson, Jovic, Duncan, Terry, and I don't remember who else is on the floor. It might have been Wiggins, it might have been Burks, but
it was Wiggins. It was Wiggins.
You don't need to try that shit.
Yeah, like, and realistically, like Wiggins today, I don't think he was particularly good. At least like but he was
an understatement.
I mean, I'm gonna be like, like there's certain things that he was doing today. Yes, but also they didn't have Tyler and they ran through him. Like he's not that kind of a player.
Absolutely, and I don't think I think especially without Tyler, they don't have the shooters to kind of make his life good.
Yeah, which is okay. Which is what I'm saying. I thought defensively the first half he was active. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He was facilitating a lot more than I anticipated him to. So there's some positive signs. The 3-pointer didn't fall. We know the kind of player he is, and he's gonna be better when Tyler is there. But like all in all, like I thought the new additions didn't stand out today. They didn't, except for Davion. I thought he genuinely he popped, at least in the first quarter. His intensity, he's really strong defensively.
3 or 2.
Yeah, he does absolutely, and that's been obviously his swing skill ever since he came out of Baylor. But like it's just little positives that you like to see, but you just have an overwhelming negative of 25 minutes from this guy who hasn't shown you anything all season, and you're paying 25 mil to. Like, it's
John Jablanca tweeted this out earlier today. Since January 1st, the Heat with Rozier on are minus 8.7 with 108.1 offensive rating. With Rozier off, they're a plus 1.3 with 115.2 offensive rating. With Hero and Rozier on together, they're a minus 12.5 with a 108.8 offensive rating. With Hero on, Rozier off, plus 4 with a 117.3. Like what he is doing, and this is just since January 1st, right? He is dragging this team down. And I don't think any of us think they're world beaters without Rozier on the floor. But he is such a fucking negative. Like he brings, like we talked about it. It's when Jovic with Terry is a -6, Jovic without Terry is a +6, a 12-point swing. Like, and it just kills me that Spo continues to play this guy big fucking minutes. Like even when he's scoring 20 points, it's still at a deficit to the offense.
You know what their offensive rating was with Terry Rozier on the floor today? 75 offensive rating.
Oh my God.
120 defensive rating.
It's awful. And Alf, kind of to everything we're talking about the bench units, even guys like Duncan Robinson struggle because Duncan Robinson used to come in with Bam or with Ware. Now he's coming in to play with Jovic and Kyle Anderson and Terry Rozier. And the problem is like defensively, that's a mess. And Boston really got back in the game because Miami couldn't defend, and then Miami can't score because really Rozier stinks. And Duncan has no synergy without a real big man to play handoffs and have a real roll man threat.
To be a roller, yeah.
And I love Jovic. Nico has so many skills. I think rolling is one of his least threatening offensive skills.
Mm-hmm. At least as a deep roller. He's a good short roller. Absolutely. But still, you need, again, the person behind that short roll on the dunker spot should not be Kyle Anderson. Like it's
and also Terry Rozier is the other guy that has an access to that short roll pass. So it's like if you're the defense, you're like,
but he never makes that pass. G, I have not seen Terry Rozier
every time
hit a shot. You know what he does?
Like Nico,
he crosses over backwards and then he looks for an entry pass, picks up his dribble, pivots twice, and kicks out to somebody at the half court line. And we wasted 13 seconds.
I'm saying that like Nico's two options on the short roll are Kyle fucking Anderson and Terry Rozier. So it's just been
what
can
brutal. You create out of that? Okay, see, and this is where I'm gonna get upset. What creativity can you get from those two guys at the rim? Like I really would love to understand what's. And here's my thing: I don't know more than Spo. He's forgotten more basketball than I know, than any of us know. I'm not mad so much at him playing his guys per se. What I'm mad at is I don't understand what can you create with certain lineups. Like to me, there's certain lineups that you go, I can create this, I can create that. This will happen. If a screen is set, this guy's gonna roll hard. I'm gonna get something out of it. If a guy's gonna come off a curl, I'm gonna be able to get a shot out of this. First off, we were joking about it earlier. It takes Kyle Anderson 7 to 10 business days to get his jump shot out. So by the time he gets the shot up, the defense has completely recovered. No knock on him. That's just the mechanics of his shot.
That's what the express shipping.
Duncan FedEx and he
That's just him.
USPS.
But to me, I'm
Pony
not
Express.
so mad at Wiggins only because he hasn't been the guy on a team since Minnesota. And he hasn't played for Minnesota in years. So for him to shift into this role where he's supposed to be the main focus on offense to some degree, like we're not that's Spo's philosophy, but we're slotting him in at a spot where you typically are supposed to get, or in the last 5 years, you're getting some type of offensive production mainly. That's not been his role for a while. So that's him being his shots. And I'm not mad at him only taking 12 shots. Like, to me, that means, well, he took 12 shots that he thought he was going to make. He didn't force anything. He didn't shoot 40 shots. He didn't shoot 30. So to me, I'm not mad at that. I think that's a rhythm thing in getting kind of like where Spo wants him to get shots from and how he wants him to get those shots within this offense. Bam played probably as best as he could considering the circumstances.
I thought Bam played well, man. I don't know what anybody's complained about with Bam.
12.
The
I don't
shoot
know
percentage is
what
not
more.
great, but
Like, what more? Here's my thing. What more would we ask him to do? Except, I'm not Spo, but if I was Spo, I would have put him on Tatum. After Tatum made the first jumper from 40 feet over the defender, I'd have said, "Hey, yo, Bam, listen, I'm gonna run Ware and Nico, and they can do whatever down here. Your whole job for the next."
Or bring Haywood in.
Just to me, some of these
0 minutes is crazy.
I feel like he's forcing guys, and I could be wrong about this. It feels like he's trying to force the small ball thing to work so badly because maybe it's because it's what he's used to.
But he's not even really playing.
Even when he ran small ball, from when we were talking about the small ball minutes and when he started all of this, you don't have a Chris Bosh on this team. That's number one. Number two, there's not a LeBron James on this team. Number two, so you can't do that. Like, I feel like he's like, I don't know what's going on.
Small ball was like 1 6'10" guy and 3 6'8" guys and Dwayne Wade. Like small ball was never. It only started getting small when it was like when Rodney Magruder started playing power forward. That's when it started getting really fucking stupid, right? But like. Yep. And now the thing is, they're not even like playing really small. They're just playing really dumb, right? Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, if Terry's in there for offense and your offense when he's on the floor takes a shit, right? Mm-hmm. Why is he there? Like, I don't know. Like, to me, if like Hawkins was healthy, I'd rather see Hawkins out there bringing the ball up the floor.
Yes, agreed.
Because at least he moves the fucking ball. Terry is dribble. 12 seconds left on the shot clock. Let's get into our offense now. There was a fucking play where, like, I mean, the Heat were already out of it, but you could have gotten a little bit of momentum. He brings the ball up the floor, not a single pass. Takes this weird fucking 2-foot runner in the lane, just completely
over a 7-footer. Okay,
no, that's not even the one. This is another one.
You talking about
when he tried to attack Porzingis, the one you're talking about? I'm like, you smoking rocks? Are you on fucking crack? What the fuck are you doing? You are 6 foot. You are not even that much taller than me, and you decide kamikaze fucking go up against Porzingis. Are you fucking stupid?
And it wasn't even just Porzingis.
You can't make open layups, nigga.
He did it 3 times.
Doing?
He did it 3 times. He did it against Porzingis.
You simple fuck.
I can confirm Terry does not smoke rocks, but he does smoke za. Confirmed. Saucy sources.
The problem is that's just the IQ thing that I'm bothered about, right? We've talked about this before. What in basketball IQ? I've never played professionally. I've just watched basketball. I've played on some leagues, but that's minimal. But in my head, if I see a 7-footer, I'm 5'9", guys. If I drive to the basket on a 7-footer, I'm getting sent home. And I mean, literally, if he blocks my shot, I'm just going to put me out. This is not my game. I'm not. The floor is not working.
There's no shame in getting blocked by a 7-footer. But if you go up into that 7-footer's chest thinking you about to do something, you're not Dwayne Wade, Terry Rozier. You know who you are? You're Terry fucking Rozier, bro. Like, golly.
The Heat
This
version.
motherfucker, I'm telling you, he makes me hate basketball. I don't want to watch this shit no more. Y'all don't get it. Like, I could watch this team lose 82 games a year, but if it's Ware and Pella and Bam, and I feel like shit is like we are like it's exciting and it's new and it's fun, and we're trying 3 big lineups and shit, I will fuck. But I can't watch Terry Rozier no more. I'm telling y'all, y'all may never see me on this fucking show again. I can't. This shit is it. I'm telling you, is affecting my mental fucking health. Having to watch Terry out there, and you know what pisses me off the fucking most? I feel like when he grabs those rebounds, like he doing something, like you do. Oh, you use a bad man, champ. With a get the fuck off the goddamn floor.
I was gonna say, I guess I get snapped.
He claps on those rebounds.
This fucking moron. Oh my god.
Alpha,
you know what else is killing me tonight? How many 6'10" guys do we need?
Grinds his gears.
No, it grinds my gears. How many 6'10" guys do we need underneath the rim? Scared to death of Luke Cornett. All right. And I'm looking at you, Bam. I'm looking at you, Jovic. Pissed, I'm looking at you, fucking Ware.
You almost injured. No, Lauf. I'll say this.
Scared to death of Luke Cornett. You had to turn around, and you're kicking it out to Terry Rozier for 3. You're fired.
Here's my problem.
Cut the whole.
And I don't watch a lot of Celtics games, but I do have a friend that's a Celtics fan, and unfortunately, that's an unfortunate thing. But Luke Cornett gets away with a lot of really bad fouls because he's 7'1".
Also, he
really
looks like
bad fouls.
I'm not gonna lie, he looks like a fucking grocer in Connecticut. Let's be real.
Not Connecticut.
He looks like he delivers weed
After the grocery job.
Maybe he gives that shit to Terry Rozier at this point.
That motherfucker is stalking. He's stalking the dairy aisle.
He does look like a Trader Joe's cashier who wants to talk too much. Like, bro,
they all want to talk too much.
The cheese dip, huh?
These macaroons they're in season. They'll be back next week.
He wants to tell you about the YouTube breakdown of the Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
Yo, Luke Cornett looks like he knows all the symbolism and Easter eggs in Kendrick Lamar's halftime.
Luke Cornett was really excited to sing A minor.
Luke Cornett was like, Samuel L. Jackson, Uncle Sam, don't you fucking get it? The black man made a flag. America's built on the blacks of black men.
He did it for Trump.
Blacks.
Serena Williams is Drake's ex. Don't you know that?
I actually didn't know that Serena was Drake's ex, and I was a tennis fan.
Yeah, because you ain't know Luke Cornett.
I was like, oh, yeah, for real?
Fucking terrified of Luke Cornett, the entire goddamn team.
He gets away. That's Luke Cornett. He does get away. Himself. He does really get away with, and I've watched other games because he's so tall. I've watched him get away with fouls. I'm like, that's not a flagrant, guys. That's not a flagrant. Like Bam almost killed Bam today. Bam almost lost the shoulder. What shoulder? Was it his shoulder he was grabbing?
Oh, and then when they hit Pella with that offensive, I think it was offensive. Oh no, a rebounding foul.
Yeah, and Luke Cornett leveled Bam at the rim.
Bro. Kyle Larson needs some respect on these whistles. Like, this is worse than when Duncan was.
Oh, yes. He's getting that Duncan fucking whistle. Like,
it's because is it
Duncan?
This is, I swear to God, he cannot play defense. I see people do the same thing he does. I saw Davon Mitchell do the same thing Kyle Larson did, and he did not get whistled. I just need that same respect. He got like 3 fouls. Shit, I'll take them 3 fouls.
You know what else will kill me? Fucking Hauser is just killing you from 3. And we just keep leaving him.
He's another guy that looks like a fucking grocer out of Connecticut.
I watch, and there was a point where Tatum's cooking. I watch Jovic leave Tatum to help Bam on a Peyton Pritchard drive. And I'm like, what?
No, let's get into this because I generally think this is what kills the Heat versus Boston. They do not like. Against Boston, you're not supposed to send help unless they're getting to the rim.
No, just don't.
They sent help early, and Boston is like, okay, swing, open 3. Swing, dunk.
By the way, Al Horford can hit 3s. I mean, if anybody feels like guarding Al Horford at the 3-point line, Be my fucking guest.
You know the problem is that before they had way more size on the perimeter, and nowadays, and by the way, this is another reason why I thought the Highsmith stuff was crazy. Highsmith's best matchup defensively is Jason Tatum. I've seen it. We've all seen it in big games and playoffs and shit. And for this to be the game he doesn't play,
No, you had to get Terry his minutes, man.
and Kyle Anderson get minutes at the 4.
We do not know how to double a post. Like, it's fucking disgusting. It's despicable. We don't rotate. I don't know what we do. We do these half-ass when we're supposed to double. When they have a mismatch, we don't send help. And
No.
God forbid Bam's helping
guys,
like Bam's in the post. Bam is at fault for not knowing how to double in the post. Like, I'm gonna say that. Like,
Bam's
he
usually
was
the
like
guy
3
that's
times
defending.
one pass away with rotation ready, and he saw it was probably Terry Rozier. You know what, Bam? Never mind. I apologize. Let that motherfucker
You know what?
die.
We used to be so good at setting that help at the exact right time, right?
All the smart
Yeah,
guys are gone now.
That was
That's
what. That was when
Yes.
we had PJ. That was when we had Iggy back then, like Crowder, Kyle. Like now, you know who we have?
Terry Rozier.
I'm not saying it no more.
I just think the IQ of this team has, and Jimmy Butler's not here either, which, also something he was really good at.
Yeah, Warriors are winning
Passing
too.
lanes.
Which,
And
by
that's
the
the
way,
thing.
has a clean 18, 8, 6, and 4 steals tonight for the Warriors.
Another 13 free throw game. By the way,
Where
more free
was
throws than
that?
we had all of today.
That I'm watching this and I'm like, what the fuck were you doing here?
No,
Bro, I
it was
watched that guy not
It
give
was
a
a
fuck.
system.
G,
Dude,
G.
he fucking
He
walked
didn't have
in
his
here.
joy. G.
Yeah,
Dude, I watched that guy pass up so many driving lanes and open shots, and I'm like, what the fuck?
No,
Well,
that
he
was
got his joy back.
apparently
And
that
also-
was a system. Don't.
When
He
he
hated
first
us,
got here,
dude.
he wasn't passing that
Hey,
shit
let
up.
me tell you, 60 million a year will do a whole lot for your joy and playing efforts.
And motivation. God damn.
That'd make me play harder.
So to kind of
121 million reasons to play hard. Pause. Sorry.
Rozier really ruined the night for the new guys.
And you know what? It's not all Rozier's fault. They would have lost the game anyway, even though the numbers suggest that if he never played a minute, they'd have been fine. But it's not about the wins and losses. And I swear to God, I keep saying it. There have been
Process.
games
Like,
this
what
year.
What are they doing that's like giving you confidence going forward? And the answer is nothing.
Nothing. Like if I saw Spo see what Terry did for his first run, and I'll bring it up again. 18-0 run by the Boston Celtics. 26-5 in his first whatever was, I think, 10 minutes. 26-5 Boston Celtics, right? If I saw Spo say, I'm not playing this motherfucker anymore, and we lost, it would have been a fucking win for me tonight.
But Alf, the Heat won 2 quarters tonight.
Yeah.
Also, they shot 9 for 45 from 3. Okay, so
all
that
those
is
threes were ass. Those
9
I'm
for
sorry.
45 from 3.
Those threes were fucking. It was. It was 11 for 45. It was horrible. All those threes were like shit shot, not in rhythm, not
I
off
disagree.
penetration.
I thought some of the looks were good. I thought they missed a lot of open ones.
The
Jovic in
looks were good,
particular.
but the rhythm wasn't.
Wiggins,
And I think
too. And
but we know that these guys are not, other than Duncan and Tyler, none of these guys are like fucking knockdown shooters that you're open. They're going to, you trust them to hit it. These are guys that need to get shots in a certain way that are in a rhythm and a certain, you know what I mean? And even though they were open, those are not good shots for those guys.
So let me say this, right? You're playing the Boston Celtics. They're going to spam threes, right? One thing you need to do is when you get a 11-point lead in the first quarter, you need to maintain it, right? Because if you fall behind, you know what you have to do to stay with the Boston Celtics. You got to start spamming threes, and that's what we did. But I keep saying, I don't care if they would have won, but what you let them go on a 26-5 run, get an 11-point lead, and after that, it was a fucking wrap.
Yeah.
You're not going to make up that deficit, not this team, not with this offense, because for you to make up that deficit, you have to start shooting threes. Tyler wasn't there. Duncan could only get 2 threes off the entire game. So who was shooting those threes? It was Wiggins. It was Davon Mitchell. Bam shot 5 threes. Ware shot 2 or 3 threes. Like you were having guys that were, and because remember, even at the end of the game when it was a wrap, it was over, like it was garbage time. They still had Derek White glued to Duncan Robinson. Okay, like they weren't letting Duncan go off without Tyler. So if you decide to throw away that defensive lineup that got you that lead and lean offense for some reason with these weird lineups, there you go. You're going to go down by 11, and then it's over because front running Tatum is going to start going off because he thinks he's Kobe all of a sudden.
Only Burks shot well from 3 today, 3 for 5. Aside from that, the Heat shot fucking 20% from 3. That's just it's not a good formula for success. They got to the rim a lot today. They just, most of the looks weren't that clean. Like it was actually one of them, like per cleaning the glass, they got 29 shots at the rim. That's pretty decent. And they drew 3 fouls at the rim. Like those are pretty decent numbers in comparison to what they typically do. It's just they shot less than 50% at the rim. So like, yeah, if you get there and you don't convert, then it's you
lose. Yeah, that's a loss. That's the game right there. Like not, and of course, the cliche thing to say, it's a hit or miss league, right? If they make 20 of the 45 shots they miss from 3, this game's a different game. We don't know if they win or lose, but it's a different game. And there's some just decision making that I think going forward, if you add 3 new guys to your team, I do think there's going to be a hitch before it gets kind of flowing. I'm not saying that these guys are going to hit a bunch of threes. That's not my point. My point is Wiggins is coming from a system that had one of the greatest shooters of all time there. Tyler wasn't here. I'm not saying, Tyler wasn't here to kind of space the floor. And I do think Davion is coming from playing with the Raptors where that system is something completely different as well, which actually that system is very Euro ball because their coach is a European coach. Like that's the way they move the ball, the way they cut, the way they make moves towards the basket, the way they get shots is very European in the ball movement. And then Kyle is also coming from Golden State. So I think there's some adjustments just personnel wise. I wasn't surprised that the game wasn't a W. I just feel like those guys are not comfortable in, and it looked, I don't know if it was just me. I know we got into, but the spacing looked awkward. Like you could tell guys are trying to still
they got to figure it out, but
where they're going to be at.
But Kyle, when you saw that starting lineup and you put Hero in for Burks, it looks like it actually makes sense a little bit, right? Sense. I'm with Lou. After what I saw tonight, I'd rather go back to Tyler, Duncan, Wiggins, Bam, because like Lou said, I am afraid if Davon Mitchell starts, we're going to get 25 minutes of Terry because that's just how Spo's brain is set up. Like, I need a black ball handler on the floor. And all. I don't know what it is. There's something.
I need Terry to get this stomach virus for the next 2 months of the season.
We need norovirus Terry.
What the fuck was happening at that gala, by the way? I mean, a bunch of guys got sick.
Not the right ones. We'll just leave it at that.
We do not condone anyone getting sick on Heat.
No, not sick. Just get the shits for a little bit. I need. Listen, I'm going to appeal to a man I've never appealed to before.
Oh no,
President Trump.
Oh no.
Okay, gambling is a serious fucking problem. All right. I'm not saying Terry Rozier should be thrown in jail. I just need the investigation to reach a level that the Heat have to suspend him.
Expedite this.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
While the investigation is ongoing, okay? The people of Miami came out and voted for you, Mr. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? To the detriment of their own fucking countrymen. Now they are out there having press conferences crying about you deporting their relatives. You know how you could fix this? Investigate Terry Rozier.
There's nothing a Republican Latino voter loves more than a black man in jail.
The out.
Alf laughed really hard because he knows it's so true.
Hard out. Yep.
Chat said heart out, G. I wish, but unfortunately, I have to plug Brian's father's GoFundMe again. Again, wow, what a transition. Dan Lebitard would be so proud of this.
Yeah, there's yikes.
Awkward yikes transition from racism to
JD
Brian's
Vance,
father.
if you're listening. Sorry.
Did you see that JD Vance is opposed to mixed race dogs?
Oh God.
He was tweeting about it yesterday.
Isn't his wife an immigrant?
They're not
Yes.
purebred.
I couldn't believe it. He was like, he just couldn't. Yeah, it was insane. He was watching the Puppy Bowl, and those were his thoughts.
Mixed race dogs.
America's tax dollars.
Man.
What does he mean by that?
Which, by the way, I didn't know that the Puppy Bowl winner won the Lombardi Trophy. Excellent. I didn't know that it was the Lombardi Trophy.
Now G's in on it.
Well, I am. I'm like, well done. Again, no way to easy transition. But as we said at the top of the show, Brian's father passed away today, and we've laughed a lot on this show. And if you can, if you've laughed and had a good time with us anytime in the last 12 years, you can find it in your heart, even if it's $1, to help donate to the GoFundMe to help Brian pay for his father's funeral services. He wants to do it in Miami, where he married his wife and had his 2 kids and raised his family. So if you can find it in your heart, it was a tragic death. It wasn't one that he was expecting. So if you can find it in your heart to donate a little bit, check out the link in our Twitch chat. I'll put it in the YouTube chat as well. And if you want, check on Twitter at MIA Heatbeat for all the information. The tweet is there. We've already raised $2,000 just during the time of the show. The community always comes out, whether it's for helping out trans people, whether it's for raising money for Haiti or any kind of cause that we've done throughout the years. You guys have always shown out. So thank you guys for showing love. And again, no easy way to end the show, but we'll be back. When's the next game, guys? The next game
Wednesday versus the Thunder. So
Wednesday versus the Thunder. So that's a doozy. We'll see you then. If you can, check out the link and again, keep supporting us. We love you guys, and we'll catch you then.